Hey, dude.
Yes, Kevin?
So, do you remember that stuff we had that one time? What was that? The monster blood. You remember I ate it and I got real big. I put a hole in the roof that one time.
I remember the roofing bill.
So that stuff's got, like, enlarging properties, right? Let me just say this, okay? I don't need the monster blood.
Do you have a date tonight, Ned?
All right, look, it's the third date, okay? And I just don't want her to be too disappointed. I don't really need a lot, obviously. I mean, I just need like 6 to 8 inches worth.
Fine.
Oh, thank you.
Monster blood is gonna fix that train wreck.
I mean, it's nicely shapen. It's just, it's really small.
That's a family thing, apparently.
Welcome to Goosebumps, everybody. This week, we're reviewing Monster Blood 3.
That's a Goosebumps third.
Evan's growing up way too fast. Set it on fire.
It's the slime that never dies.
Ooh.
Evan can't stand babysitting his genius cousin, Kermit. Kermit refuses to play video games. He won't even play Frisbee. All he likes to do is hang out in the basement, doing strange experiments and playing mean practical jokes on Evan and his friend Andy. But now Andy's found something that will teach Kermit a lesson once and for all. It's green, it's slimy, it comes in a can marked
Monster Blood 3.
Blood 3.
Why don't we check in with Amy to see what we're drinking this go around?
Amy?
Hey guys, how are you? I wish I had something better for you this time, but desperate times call for desperate measures. So here's some absinthe, just absinthe. Hope you're well. I'm doing fine. Amy.
Cheers.
Cheers to absinthe. This was a terrible decision, Amy. Why would you make us drink this shit? Come on.
Monster Blood 3. It's the same old story we've heard twice before. All right.
Same characters in every.
Well, of course, we got
Kermit's new.
We've got Evan and Andy, but
Conan the Barbarian's a return character.
Yep.
if you'll recall Monster Blood 2, the crisis was Conan the neighborhood bully, was such an ass to Evan and Andy that at some point they decided to unleash the monster blood and exact their revenge. This story, it's Evan's annoying little cousin Kermit,
which was a pretty on-the-nose name there.
Yeah.
I
Jesus.
expected them to. I expected him to have a real name, and then he just went by Kermit.
Nope. His mom
name
named
was
him
Kermit.
and he's a little shithead, just like the sister from the last book.
Yeah, two books in a row with a terrible
and not
sibling.
even like bad, just like overwhelmingly, like you hate to call a small child an asshole, but he's an asshole. Well, I don't hate calling small children assholes.
Basically, Evan is babysitting for Kermit until...
To save up for a new Walkman.
He's getting $3 an hour to watch this terror of a child.
Who's a genius. Bona fide genius.
So Kermit, Evan's cousin, has a lab set up in his basement. And is a genius for mixing random household items in like a science lab setting. I'd be like, here, Kermit, here's some bleach and ammonia.
Evan's walking home, or walking to go babysit Kermit, and because he looked at Conan the Barbarian's lawn
Yard.
wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, you looking at my yard? And then he
you looking at
then
my
he- and then-
grass?
And then he
says
pulls
no.
the classic, oh, what, it's not good enough to look at now? It's like, Jesus Christ. Kermit comes, and much like Jason, never helps the situation. Ever. And he's like, well, I got a disappearing potion. He's got some blue potion. It'll make you disappear. It's like, do it. So he pours it on his chest.
On his t-shirt.
Onto his muscle shirt.
Onto Conan's muscle
Yeah,
shirt.
onto Conan's muscle shirt. It just gets tighter and tighter. Till it just...
What the hell, man? That's my favorite muscle shirt.
And so he kicks Evan's ass. Evan's like, the next day, he's like, God, my cousin's a dick to Andy, Andrea, who's come back. And, you know, he's just bitching and moaning. She's like, oh, he's not that bad whenever I'm around. So he drags Andy with her. And she's got,
babysit,
yeah,
yeah.
and she's got a mosquito bite. So immediately, knowing the cover of the book and seeing where this blue potion goes, you know where this book's going. Someone's gonna be big, blue potion's gonna fix him.
Andy, when she's coming over with Evan to babysit, she brings her math
Oh, yeah.
homework. And Kermit sees Andy doing her math homework. He's like, what? I love math.
Let me do it. Let me do it. He's like begging her to do
And she's like,
her
yeah.
equations.
Come to
Come to
find
find out he
out,
fucks all of them up.
He did it.
he purposely gave the wrong answers, so she failed math yet again. And now Andy's like, we need to get even with your little cousin, Evan. Let's pull out the monster blood. And
Okay.
Evan goes, okay.
This irregardless.
Are you just
What?
really
Yeah.
making up words now?
So he's like, all right, Andy, let's do this. So Kermit's like mixing some yellow dough, they called it, and Andy pinches off a loaf of monster blood and throws it in.
He's mixing in the monster blood into the yellow dough. All of a sudden it starts growing. He's like, are you guys seeing this? It's growing. It's not supposed to do that.
So the monster blood dough ball is growing and growing, and just as Evan's about to take a bite of his chocolate bar,
Explodes.
it explodes in his face,
And it gets all in Andy's hair.
and it gets all in Evan's
She's
mouth.
like, oh, it's stuck in my hair, yeah.
Now
Evidently,
it's a
Evan
shower.
swallows. Here's what we learned from this.
And Andy doesn't go like this, like, you know.
Evan swallows and Andy needs a hairnet.
It gets on his chocolate bar. He eats
He
it.
eats it and it's salty and he didn't like it.
He might have liked it.
He
He
didn't
needs
say he
to
was
try
a
it
big
a few
fan.
more times before he rules it
You know,
out.
yeah. Maybe if he was expecting it, it would be
There's a time and
different.
place for everything.
It's called college.
called 5th grade or whatever.
It's called The Basement with My Cousin. Evan's eating the monster blood. He is growing and growing. They got to get him out of the
Evan
house.
swallows.
And as he becomes a giant, he sees Conan, the bully, over the fence, and decides to...
Time to get his revenge.
Yes. Conan's like, whoa, Evan, what are you doing way up there? You're so big. But I'm not that big because I'm afraid of heights.
Why would you give away your weakness?
In the most unnatural dialogue.
Yeah. That's like Superman being like, whoa there, Lex Luthor. I don't like kryptonite. It hurts.
Giant Evan reaches down and grabs Conan.
Sticks him in a tree.
Yeah. And he's like, no, let me down. I'm scared of heights.
And just leaves.
Just leaves. It was probably the best
I thought
part
that
of
was
the book.
awesome. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Then the police show up.
Yeah. First, the firemen show up, though. And he
Yeah.
starts to get worried like firemen have authority.
They're barely trying to talk to him. They're like, what's your name? And he's like, Evan Ross.
He tells them where he lives, and they're like, kill him!
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's a monster.
Hose him
Conan
down!
in the background is screaming, he's dangerous, he's
Yep.
dangerous.
He left me up in this tree.
Evan's like, well, I'm running away and hiding. And he finds a big pile of lumber where someone's gonna build a house. He's hiding behind a pile of lumber. Andy and Kermit find him. Then
I
finally...
knew exactly where you'd be because I'm so smart.
Yeah.
I knew
you'd
you'd
be
be
behind this lumber
I knew you'd hide
pile.
behind a pile of lumber, and this is the closest one in the 10-block area. Hey, remember the shrinking potion?
From the beginning of the book.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I only have a little bit left. And Evan, and even the book points out, and smart kid, only pours it on his head and his arms, his chest, and his legs. Leaves this alone.
Because if we're going to
Smart.
shrink everything,
He's like, well,
let's not
Just
shrink.
leave that be.
That's just it. In real life, you know, he's like, he grows. First thing you do is like, yeah. So everything seems to work out in the end. Evan wakes up in the middle of the night. He's like, oh, I need something to drink. It's like, man, why does my bed seem huge? Again, you see this coming a million miles away. Drops down to the floor, which is apparently a long drop. He's the size of a mouse. He never stopped shrinking.
Dark ending. Dark ending.
Dark ending.
Oh, God. Ow.
So there is no episode to this book. I don't know why. It was just phenomenal.
They didn't make a episode out of any of the Monster Blood sequels. It's funny because making somebody huge on TV in the 90s.
But remember how good Trigger looked in that episode?
So good.
That is true.
So my uncle made this for us.
It's our new toy, the random shot ski. I think it's pretty obvious how this works. We're gonna pick a alcohol.
Are you sure, guys, you don't want to do the absinthe in this game?
Fuck
Do you want to?
Wherever we land, we're drinking a ski of liquor.
Ah, I was hoping for the
It's vodka. Ned, bring us
Or
a
the
bottle of vodka.
the whiskey.
Apparently, the only vodka that is in this mansion is honey-flavored vodka.
I drank all the other
Sting
vodka.
44.
One,
One,
two,
two, three. Jesus. We should have done the absinthe. That was gross.
Well, then, I guess let's jump into rating the book. Ned, what did you think of Monster Blood 3?
It fucking sucked. This book was so stupid. Nothing happens. The same boring scenario happens 3 times.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? They're like, we shouldn't use the monster blood, but let's do it anyway. It's been the
You
plot
think
of the
they would
last
have
two.
learned?
Yeah. Give me something new. I mean,
Oh, at the end of every monster blood,
At least-
we're never dealing with
I do
monster
like
blood
that they
again.
still acknowledge that monster blood did happen in the city. Like everyone remembers the giant hamster.
yeah, that was
So
funny.
I-
Conan brings it up.
Yeah.
If I have to rate it, I'll give it a 1.75.
Ow, harsh.
It fucking sucked. I'm sorry.
This is one of the few books I didn't fall asleep during reading. I pooped for like 3 chapters though.
So you give it a...
I give it a 2. I give it a deuce like I was taking when I was reading part of it.
Bob gives it a deuce.
Bob gives it a deuce.
Yeah, I hated that it was basically a rehash of Monster Blood 2. Same thing, we shouldn't use the monster blood.
Yeah, at
Let's
least
use
the
monster blood.
Monster Blood 2 at least was different than the first one, and it worked. But then this one was, yeah, exactly a rehash.
I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
You hate to call a small child an asshole.
Well, now that we're done with that, we have a few thank yous to throw out there. First and foremost, our personal contractor, Al, for his lovely shot ski. Thank you to our Aussie friends, Martin and Danny. Richard in Virginia.
Thank you, Richard.
Jacob from Ohio.
Jacob!
He says, keep up the awesome vids.
Will do.
Thanks, bud.
We're trying to get rid of Jason as we speak, so.
If you want to take his place.
Thanks to Jay in Indiana, who says, keep making Drinking with Goosebumps episodes. Well, that's why we're here. Literally right now. And finally, thank you to Liam from Nova Scotia, who says, please let Bob know he has a hot sister. From
Thank
Nova
you.
Scotia.
Thank you, Liam. Believe it or not the first person to tell me that. Even Ned's told me that, and that's his cousin, so it's kind of weird, but.
Have?
Yup.
When did I tell you that?
You were drunk.
I did?
Do you see how nice that book looks? Can you not destroy that?
I'll really
Looks
try.
good right now.
Honestly, I will really try not to destroy this book. It came from beneath the sink.
Is it Ajax?
I'm pretty sure it's just Mr. Clean.
It's Mr.
Yeah.
Clean under there. Oh, you see his like bald dome. Okay, we got it. It's warm, it's breathing, and it doesn't do dishes.
Ow.
Well, you know it's a man.